Being indispensable is a trap designed to exploit your labor until you break. Systems are built to neutralize every single point of failure as soon as they are identified. If you are indispensable, you are a systemic risk that must be mitigated by management. An indispensable employee is unpromotable because their current function is too critical to vacate. Management will seek to document and replace your unique value to ensure business continuity. You must shift from being irreplaceable to being structurally necessary for the system's survival. True leverage comes from controlling the flow of critical information rather than doing more work. The system does not reward hard work with actual power or long-term security. Efficiency is often punished with a higher volume of tasks and zero additional authority. To win, you must become the junction of the process where all decisions must pass. Do not be the engine of the company. Be the key to the ignition instead. Information asymmetry is your primary weapon in the silent war of the corporate hierarchy. Transparency reduces your market value within the organization's hidden power structure. Keep the final output clear but keep the internal mechanism entirely opaque to others. If they understand your method, they no longer need you to perform the task. Complexity is a shield that protects your professional position from outside interference. Institutional memory is an asset that cannot be easily downloaded or transferred to others. Become the only person who remembers exactly why things are broken in the first place. The cost of replacing you must always exceed the cost of keeping you on the payroll. Document the results perfectly but hide the internal processing logic from your peers. Strategic compliance involves giving the illusion of full cooperation while maintaining control. Train your backup to handle the routine tasks but never the critical crisis management. A backup who knows everything is just your future replacement waiting for an opening. Control the pace of delivery to manage management's expectations and your own sanity. Strategic drag prevents the system from over-allocating your capacity to the point of failure. Never deliver a project early without a specific strategic reason to gain more leverage. Use surplus time to study the system's hidden incentives and identify new power centers. Visibility is a tool that must be calibrated with surgical precision to avoid being targeted. Being too visible makes you a target for political rivals who fear your growing influence. Being invisible makes you a prime candidate for the next round of corporate layoffs. Focus on being required at the specific moment of critical, high-stakes decisions. The system prioritizes predictability over individual talent, merit, or exceptional effort. Standardized employees are low-risk commodities that are easily traded and replaced. You must become a high-stakes asset with proprietary knowledge that cannot be Googled. Volunteer for messy, chaotic projects that leadership is too afraid to touch or manage. Build an infrastructure that only you can navigate with ease and total confidence. Use non-standard tools to create a monopoly on specific technical processes. If the process is proprietary, you effectively own the career leverage in that department. The goal is a negotiation between two equal counterparties, not a master and servant. Stop seeking emotional validation and start seeking structural necessity in every task. A servant asks for more work. An architect designs the workflow to favor their position. The system has no feelings and owes you no loyalty regardless of your years of service. Loyalty is a debt the system never intends to pay back to the loyal employee. Your only protection is the friction you can create when the system tries to move you. A cure for a company problem makes your role completely obsolete and unnecessary. A chronic treatment makes you a permanent line item in the annual department budget. Keep the system functional but keep the underlying problem managed under your control. Power is the ability to walk away from the table without losing your entire livelihood. Build your value outside the company while working inside it to maintain your options. If you have no alternatives, you have no real power in any negotiation. Corporate dependence is a game of technical and psychological chess played in silence. Workplace Strategy Lab focuses on systems and structures, not on human emotions. Analyze the system to understand exactly where the leverage sits at any given time. Control the mechanism to ensure your long-term professional survival in a hostile environment. The machine only respects what it cannot easily replicate or automate. Become the requirement that the system cannot afford to lose during a crisis. Management views your extra capacity as an underutilized asset to be exploited. The reward for being a reliable bucket is that the system pours more water into you. This is not a management error, it is a structural optimization of resources. Work flows toward the path of least resistance in every corporate environment. If you are efficient, you have inadvertently taxed your own competence. The system prioritizes immediate throughput over your long-term sustainability. Moving you upward creates a vacuum that a manager is unwilling to fill. Complaining about workload signals that you are struggling with basic volume. Working harder to prove you deserve a promotion only confirms you have more capacity. You must introduce intentional calibration of visible effort to match the hierarchy. Do not deliver early. Use that time to document the perceived complexity of the task. Shift the narrative from your speed to the technical difficulty of the execution. Visibility is more valuable than volume in a system built on perverse incentives. If your competence is silent, it is treated as a basic utility like electricity. If your competence is scarce, it is treated as a strategic asset. Corporate dependence is created when the organization fears the complexity of the input. You want to be the gatekeeper of a process that leadership values but fears. Hoard the synthesis of data, not the raw data itself, which is easily found. In a transparent organization, your individual value is capped by the system. Become the institutional memory for a specific, painful problem that recurs. The cost of you solving a problem must be lower than a team trying to learn it. Most employees follow existing processes. The strategic employee invents the process. Identify a chaotic area and volunteer to organize it using your unique methods. Use tools or methodologies that are not standard issue to create a technical moat. If you use Python while others use Excel, you own the logic of the model. Managers are risk-averse. They will not tear down what they do not understand. Maintaining leverage requires the precise calibration of your professional visibility. Strategic compliance is the art of giving the system what it asks for without giving control. Document the inputs and the outputs, but leave the processing logic entirely vague. Attribute your success to experience-based judgment which cannot be written down. Framing your work as requiring intuition is a powerful defense against automation. Ensure people can keep the lights on, but never let them run the power plant. This provides the illusion of redundancy while keeping the reality of dependence. Stop seeking validation through volume and start seeking it through structural impact. The hardest worker is rarely the most secure, they are usually the most exhausted. Shift from a service mindset to an architecture mindset to change your power dynamic. A servant asks, "What else?" An architect decides how it works. Corporate dependence is a negotiation between counterparties with different assets. They have the capital, you have the mechanism to make that capital work. It is better to be required by the system than to be liked by the management. In the cold calculus of business, requirement beats likability every single time. The loyalist believes knowing everything makes them a hero to the company. In a system, a hero is just a resource to be exhausted and eventually discarded. The strategist knows that being a hero is a low-margin, high-risk business. Being a gatekeeper is a high-margin business with significantly lower risk. Gatekeepers do not burn out, they regulate the burn rate of the entire system. If a stranger can do your job with 1 week of training, you have no leverage. Visibility is not about being seen, it is about being remembered during crises. Ensure your name is the only solution to a recurring and expensive problem. A cure makes you obsolete. A treatment makes you a permanent necessity. The machine made of incentives and structures does not owe you anything. If you are losing, look for the structural lever you failed to pull. The machine only respects friction that it cannot lubricate or remove. Efficiency without leverage is just a faster way to reach professional burnout. Systemic dependence is the only true job security in a fluctuating market. Control the information flow and you control the perception of your value. Never reveal the full extent of your knowledge to anyone within the company. Keep the most critical parts of the process in your head, not on the server. The system will always choose the path that minimizes its own risk, not yours. Your goal is to make replacing you the highest risk option available to them. Power is not given, it is manufactured through the control of vital systems. Standardization is the enemy of the individual professional's leverage. Resist all attempts to turn your unique judgment into a standard checklist. If it can be put into a checklist, it can be given to a cheaper worker. Your value is the delta between the process and the result. Ensure that the delta is wide enough to require your constant presence. The strategist operates in the shadows of the organizational chart. Real power in a company is rarely found in the official titles. It is found in the dependencies that people are afraid to name out loud. Become the person people are afraid to lose, even if they don't like you. This is the cold clarity of workplace strategy. Emotions are noise. Structures are the signal you must follow. The architect of their own career never relies on the kindness of a manager. They rely on the structural necessity of their role within the machine. This is how you turn a job into a position of strategic power. This is how you stop losing and start controlling the game. Analyze the structure, control the flow, and become the requirement. The machine moves forward, but you decide the direction of the gears. Never mistake a busy schedule for a secure career path. A busy person is a tool. A required person is a partner. The system will try to break your monopoly on information at every turn. Protect your asymmetry as if your career depends on it, because it does. There is no such thing as a fair system, only a managed one. You are either managing the system or being managed by it. Silence is often more powerful than speech in a meeting of peers. Let others reveal their cards while you keep yours close to your chest. The person with the most information always has the most options. Ensure your options are always expanding while the system's options stay limited. This is the path to professional autonomy in a corporate world. Workplace Strategy Lab, where we analyze the mechanics of power. Every line of this strategy is a brick in your defensive wall. Build it high enough that the system cannot climb over it. Build it strong enough that they cannot knock it down without a cost. You are the operator of your own professional destiny. The machine is yours to navigate, if you know where the levers are. Stop working for the system and start making the system work for you. This is the final operating principle of the strategic professional. The goal is not to win the race, but to own the track. When you own the track, you decide who gets to finish. This is the ultimate form of corporate leverage. Efficiency is a trap if it isn't leveraged. Competence is a target if it isn't hidden. Strategy is the only way out of the cycle of exploitation. Be the ghost in the machine that makes it run. Be the shadow that the light cannot erase. This is your manual for survival. This is your blueprint for power. The strategy is now yours to execute. Information synthesis is the process of turning raw data into exclusive knowledge. Raw data is a commodity that anyone in the company can access at any time. The way you connect disparate data points creates a map only you can read. If you provide the map but not the legend, you remain the necessary guide. The organization thrives on the belief that its processes are objective and scientific. In reality, most processes are held together by the subjective judgment of key individuals. Your goal is to be the key individual who provides that subjective structural glue. By doing so, you move from being a cost center to a value preservation center. Value preservation is much more defensive than simple value creation in a recession. When the budget is cut, the creators are fired, but the preservers are retained. Understand the difference between a task-based role and a flow-based role. Task-based roles are measured by volume. Flow-based roles are measured by continuity. Continuity is far more valuable to a risk-averse executive than high-speed volume. Manage the flow, and you will effectively manage the expectations of the entire room. Avoid the high-performance trap, where you are rewarded with the work of others. This trap is designed to maximize the system's output at your personal expense. Redirect the extra work by demonstrating the complexity of your current allocation. Complexity is the only currency the system respects as a valid reason for delay. Use technical jargon only when it serves to reinforce the opacity of your methods. When explaining your work, make it sound like a delicate, manual surgical procedure. This discourages management from attempting to automate or outsource your specific tasks. If it sounds mechanical, it will be mechanized. If it sounds artisanal, it will be protected. A strategic employee is always a bit of a mystery to their immediate supervisor. Mystery creates a psychological buffer that prevents overfamiliarity and exploitation. Overfamiliarity leads to the favor-based workload, which has zero professional ROI. Keep the relationship purely transactional and anchored in the structural needs of the company. Document your successes in a way that highlights the disaster you narrowly averted. Averting a disaster is seen as more valuable than achieving a standard success. Disasters are visceral and emotional for leadership. Success is just a baseline expectation. Position yourself as the only shield between the organization and recurring operational chaos. Operational chaos is the natural state of any large-scale corporate organization. Order is artificial and requires your constant, specialized intervention to maintain. Remind the system of this reality through your calibrated reports and strategic silences. When you stop intervening, the chaos must be felt by the layers above you immediately. This feeling of chaos is what reinforces your structural necessity during budget reviews. The memory of the pain is more powerful than the promise of future performance. Leverage the system's own fear of entropy to secure your position in the hierarchy. Entropy is your ally because it creates the constant need for your specific order. You are the architect of the bridge. You are also the only one who knows the cracks. This knowledge is your ultimate insurance policy against sudden organizational change. Corporate life is a series of structural interactions governed by unwritten rules. The first unwritten rule is that the system will take everything you give for free. Stop giving for free and start charging the price of structural dependence. This is not about being greedy. It is about being strategically sound in a system. A sound strategy is the only thing that survives the volatility of the modern market. Stay cold, stay analytical, and stay necessary to the machine's core function. Analyze the structure, control the flow, and become the absolute requirement. The machine is moving. You must be the one who knows how to stop it. Control the stop, and you will eventually control the start and the speed. This is the final lesson in Kurumsalbagimlilik, corporate dependence. Workplace Strategy Lab. No hype, just systems. Analyze the structure.